But one of the things that went away during the shutdown is Pam Bondi was supposed to come to the House and answer these questions. And look, I'm not on the Judiciary Committee, but I did want Pam Bondi to come and do some explaining.
And so if Donald Trump actually wanted to exonerate himself, he should release all the Epstein files today.
This bill faces a very uncertain prospect, very dubious prospects, in fact. The Senate Republican leaders have shown no interest in taking this bill up. It's unlikely to get 60 votes there. And of course, Donald Trump would have to sign it into law, which he has made very clear how opposed he is to this bill.
I don't know about you guys, but Uncle Casey is tired at this point of hearing about Jeff Epstein. This dude refuses to go away, even though he passed away 6 years ago. And one of the reasons I think Jeff refuses to go away is because it seems like the federal government is intentionally hiding information from the public. And when I say federal government, I mean both administrations, Don Trump and our former fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden. Yesterday, over 20,000 documents were released to the public. Some were released by Democrats, House Democrats. Others were released by Republicans on the House Oversight Committee. Within those 20,000 documents, there were a handful that the mainstream media is using to make the Trumper look bad. Now, at minimum, they're not exactly flattering. In one example, Jeff Epstein said, "I know how dirty Donald is." Either Don Trump is allergic to taking a bath, or maybe Don Trump has unusual bedroom proclivities. Maybe he's talking about Don Trump being a dirty businessman. Or maybe Jeff was talking about hush money being paid to Storm Daniels. Unfortunately, we don't know because we don't have the full context, which is a common theme of the documents that were released. We get these bits and pieces, but we don't ever get the full story. There was also video footage that was obtained by NBC News. Videos from 1992, and it shows the Trumper and Jeff Epstein at Mar-a-Lago. According to the video description on Twitter, "This is no longer speculation, it's on camera. Don Trump is pointing at girls and he's doing the unthinkable. He's smiling." I would play the video for you, but there's music playing in the background and I don't want to get hit with copyright. But as expected, the video doesn't really prove a damn thing. Yes, Don Trump is standing there with Jeff Epstein. Yes, Don Trump is pointing. Who is he pointing to? Hell if I know, because the video doesn't show anything. For all I know, Don could be pointing to the ficus in the corner. "Look at that ficus, Jeff. I water that ficus with the best water in the world. It's pure water. It's magical water. It's purified water that comes from the faucet." The only thing the release of these over 20,000 documents did was create more speculation and conjecture. But it also accomplished one more thing. And maybe this was one of the reasons these documents were released just as the government was reopening. What a coincidence. The government reopens and the Epstein files are magically released. Strange. But the one thing the release of the Epstein files accomplished, it pissed off the Trumper. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Yesterday afternoon, Don Trump gave his reaction to the release of the Epstein files on Social Truth. "The Democrats are pushing this hoax again because they're mad about the government reopening. I'm feeding the people, and they're talking about Jeff Epstein. They're losers. I'm a winner. With love, Don Trump." Do I think the Trumper has a point here? Do I think it's not coincidental that the files were released as the government was reopening? Sure, but that does not absolve the Trumper. I don't understand why he just won't release the damn files. If you're innocent, if you have nothing to hide, then why not just release them? I think the speculation is doing far more damage than the actual files themselves. We live in a 24-hour news cycle where stories are constantly changing. What seems like major news this morning could be irrelevant or even forgotten by this afternoon. A couple of weeks ago, do you remember the major story in the NBA? Well, Casey, yes, LeBron James was unable to start the season because of a foot fungus. No. The big news in the NBA was the gambling scandal, starting players in the league manipulating the outcomes of NBA games. Here we are a couple of weeks later, no one is talking about it. So I don't understand this hesitation of releasing all the files. According to Alan Dershowitz, Jeff Epstein's former attorney, or his original claim to fame, which was being a member of the dream team of lawyers representing Orenthal James Simpson in the mid-90s. According to Al, the reason all the files haven't been released is because they are being blocked by a federal judge. John Biden couldn't release them. The Trumper doesn't have the power to release them. Obviously, this only pertains to certain documents, but according to Al Dershowitz, that's the reason the entirety of the Epstein files haven't been released to the public. But maybe there's another reason. Now, this is pure speculation on my part, but since everyone else is speculating, I'll just go ahead and add to the conjecture. Maybe, just maybe, the Epstein files haven't fully been released because there are powerful names from both sides included. Maybe we are seeing selective documents released that fit certain narratives. Maybe this is one of those rare instances where Democrats and Republicans are protecting each other publicly. And I say publicly because they seem to be friendly privately. Last night, Republican Tim Burchett was on CNN, and he was talking about his wonderful friendship with AOC LGBT. Watch for yourself.
And AOC, I think, will take him on. I think I talked to her tonight, and she'll announce tomorrow. If she announced tomorrow, she'd raise $10 million over the weekend. They'd be throwing money at her as fast. It should be record amounts because people are sick of Chuck Schumer.
When you talked to her tonight you talked about running, what did she say?
She smiled and said, "Thank you, Burchett." I mean, she's my friendly neighborhood Marxist. I realize she's about as far left as I am right, but she actually believes that garbage, and that's why I can actually. She and I are friends.
Alex is my friend. Since my name is Tim, she lets me dress as the T in LGBT at her Halloween party. Alex might be a crazy socialist, but we can still be besties. I love you, you love me. I'm in love with AOC. She's a proud communist who wants rich people's money, but that doesn't mean we're not besties. I'm sure AOC is wonderful to be around at dinner parties. I'm sure she's great company on long walks through Central Park. But under no circumstances do I want AOC LGBT anywhere near the White House. Hell, I don't want her anywhere near the Senate. I know people are tired of Charles Schumer. Hell, I'm tired of his ass too. But I would rather have an impotent Charles than a communist who wants to take my money and give it to some Somalian. Look, I am no expert on this Epstein case. Do I think the Trumper and Pam Bondi have handled this poorly? Absolutely. But it seems to me that Democrats have had access to the files too. Hell, Democrats were responsible for releasing some of the files yesterday. I want you to think about something. if there was something incendiary, if there was something that implicated the Trumper in these files, don't you think we would already know about it? Don't you think it would have been released before he won the last election? So far, the most controversial files involving the Trumper are Epstein claiming that Don is the dog that hasn't barked or Don is dirty, and some other out-of-context email where it's insinuated that Trump knew about the girls. Well, Casey, what girls? I don't know, and that's the point. It almost feels like this is intentional. It almost feels like they're being released without context to cause rampant speculation. Ironically enough, the one thing and possibly the only thing that Democrat and conservative media agree on, all of the files should be released. I damn sure agree because Uncle KC is tired of hearing about Jeff Epstein. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.